The number one thing that is a huge contradictory in today's world, in our own personal lives, is that we believe that being kind is the same as being nice. And there's a huge difference between the two. Because being kind means I have respect for myself. So therefore, if I meet you, I have respect for you. But if you disrespect me, there's no reason for me to keep respecting you. But being nice is meaning that I'm neglecting myself to please others. And that is where a lot of people misconstrue the understanding of prioritizing self, but knowing how not to be selfish. So in today's video, I want to share with you knowing the difference between what real unconditional love is rather than unconditional tolerance. And when you learn what I'm going to share with you today, you will understand how to prioritize self, not in a way where you're selfish, but in a way where you know that your energy and who you are is just as important as another person's need. Beautiful beings, welcome back, Awaken Ones, on another episode on Embracing Essential Series. With your homegirl Brittany Fontanez. If you're new to this channel, so glad to have you here. And if you've been on this journey with me so far, nothing but love for you, boo. And on this channel, I am an energetic activator, and I'm here to share with you things you have yet to see. So if I trigger you, I'm doing my job. If I activate you, I hope you awaken to the best potential that you have yet to see within yourself. So other than that, beautiful beings, let's dive into knowing what real unconditional love is, not unconditional tolerance. And the reason why I want to bring this topic up is because I've realized within my own personal life and with the lives of other people that I know, everything I'm sharing with you today is going to be beneficial within every connection you have. The connection with your parents, connection to our creator, connection to our friends, even our personal love relationships as well. And the reason why I'm bringing up this topic is because I believe a lot of people don't know how to prioritize self in a way where you're not seeming selfish, but you know what is best for you. And I believe this is beneficial because we live in a world where a lot of our love is being manipulated, is being used, is being mistreated, is not being recognized. And a lot of people are so fake. Let's be honest. Even I could be fake sometimes, where I'm just putting on a smile and I really don't want to fuck with some people. Like, I don't like you. I don't even need to know you to like you. My energy, my aura does not like your energy. We get that energy, but we still have a tendency to neglect ourselves to please other people. Now, for example, in my own personal life, I'm in a new relationship, and also I'm meeting a lot of new people as well. And I used to be that person that always was the life of the party, always drinking, always smoking. But since I've allowed myself to dabble in that a little bit, since I haven't been doing it for so much, my body can't handle it. And I can't let what people say, you can't keep up with me or whatever. And I started to realize that I'm okay walking my own path. I'm okay saying no. I'm okay not being liked or being part of the crowd. But a lot of us have the issues of carving our own path. This is why we fear of being judged. And through this is how being nice comes into play. Because being nice, it means you're neglecting yourself to please other people. And that is because you want to be a people pleaser, because you lack boundaries. And let's be honest, you lack self-respect. And the reason why I feel this is beneficial for every relationship you have in your life is because we have to understand that we come to this planet by ourselves. We're going to leave by ourselves. We are our own person too. And I recognize even in my friendships and even in my past relationships how they didn't know how to stand up to their parents. They didn't know how to say no. They didn't know how to say what they felt or how to express themselves because they believed their parent would ban them or shun them. In my own personal life, it took me a long time to not speak out of resentment or hatred towards my parents. So I had to learn to forgive. I had to learn to communicate, which I'm very thankful for. And now I have a great relationship with my parents. But anytime I feel bothered by them trying to control me, by them trying to tell me how my life should be, or by them thinking that I'm a selfish person for just focusing on myself, I realize I have to set my boundary, and I realize I have to express myself regardless if they do not like it. But the thing is, we have to recognize we are our own people. So one, our parents don't own us. Two, we don't own anything to our friends. And third of all, when it comes to relationships, we do not need to please the other person just for them to like us. And this is why being nice is not the way to go. And this is why a lot of people believe that they're being used or manipulated or misjudged, because they're not really authentically expressing themselves. This is why there's no need to be fake. And that's what I want to share with you guys, is how to prioritize yourself regardless of what people think about you. Because it has nothing to do with the other person. If you're here in this world trying to be liked or loved by other people, by your parents, by anyone that you deem that their opinion of you is more important than your own, then what you're really going to do is not be your most authentic self to people. And that's going to come off as if you're not a real person. So a lot of people could sense that. You know, everything's energy, everything's a vibe. So a lot of people sense that. And I feel it's important not to walk into connections inauthentically. Because if you're going to walk into connections or friendships or trying to approach your parents in certain dynamics, then what you're doing is that they're going to give you an expression of their inauthenticity. And therefore, there's no real connection or harmony within the relationships. So it's very important to understand that it's not about being nice. But there is a difference between learning how to be kind. And this is where self-prioritizing comes in. Excuse me. This is where self-prioritizing comes in. Where being nice means, a lot of people think, if I'm loving, if I'm giving, then unconditional love means having unconditional tolerance. That is not true. Because when you allow yourself to have unconditional tolerance, you're distorting your own perspective of love really is. Because love is truth and honesty. It's not falsity and it's not hiding. So it's very important to understand unconditional love has nothing to do with unconditional tolerance. Unconditional tolerance is a people-pleasing mechanism where you're too fearful to express yourself, so you want people to love you in a way where it's not really serving you. So this is where I want to get into knowing what real unconditional love is and how to prioritize yourself to the point that all your relationships are healthy, are in harmony, but you feel respected and you're still respecting the other person as well. So unconditional love really means that you're willing to be honest. You're willing to be vulnerable. You're willing to be authentic. Like for me, for example, my dad has this habit of saying, "Hey, stranger," when I don't text him for like a long time or call him or anything. And remind you, I just allowed him in my life, back into my life, like 2-3 years ago. It was my choice because of the lack of presence within my life. So now that he has only one daughter and 2 boys and another daughter that doesn't really talk to him, I put a little bit of extra effort, but I feel like it's not appreciated. So when I'm living my own life and doing my own thing and I don't think about him, he doesn't come to me in an authentic, vulnerable way. He'll be like, "Hey, stranger, you don't love me?" That makes me feel unappreciated. So I literally had to build up the courage and tell him, "Listen, I don't appreciate how you talk to me, knowing that I put more effort to talking to you and asking how you're doing, unlike majority of your kids. And I learned to appreciate you and the things you do for me, unlike them." And I'm not saying this because I'm better. I'm saying this because I need you to recognize that I'm my own person. I can respect you when I want to, but if you don't respect me, then we're going to have an issue. And you know, coming from a place of maturity, just like that, to express yourself, you're learning how to prioritize yourself to the point that you're not doing things because you are lacking something. You're prioritizing yourself because you know you're your own person and you matter too, not just that other person. And not only this, when it comes to friendships, like when it comes to recently, I was drinking with someone, they'd be like, "Oh, you're a pussy, you don't want to drink anymore?" And I literally kept saying, "Yeah, I'm fine. I'm fine being a pussy if that's what you consider having boundaries. I'm fine with that." And saying no made me feel so good. Because it shows people how much I respect myself, but it shows them how much I don't give a fuck about pleasing them. Because that means I'm my own person. And same thing when it comes to relationships. I learned not to always go with the flow of what the other person wants. Because if I feel like my body doesn't want to do it, if I feel like my heart doesn't want to do it, then I'm going to say no. And I'm going to set a boundary and I'm going to let them know what is best for me. And in that way, it shows the other person an example of how they can better prioritize themselves, but also how to approach me in a manner where it's good for me and it's healthy for both of us. Because I usually do things for the benefit of not just myself, but for the other person. So we both have a mutual agreement. So unconditional love is approaching things with authenticity, truth, honesty, and vulnerability. And I feel those are the most 4 important things to have in every connection. Because when you do, you become the example and the reflection of what you feel you deserve from other people. And it's very important that you see yourself not in a high standards, but in a high regard, where you know that your existence matters just as much as that other person's existence matters too. But you want to be heard and understood. And here's the thing, you guys. When you stop having unconditional tolerance, but having unconditional love for yourself, knowing what's best for you and knowing what's best for the situation, when you stop trying to seek what you're lacking, meaning love, attention, you'll start to realize a lot of people will fall off, but a lot of new people will come into your life. And here's the thing. We're not chasers. We are attractors. So when you start doing what is beneficial for you, you're going to attract what is going to add to the benefit of what you have shifted within yourself. So everything I shared with you today is pretty much to help you know the difference of what unconditional love is, rather than have unconditional tolerance. Because unconditional tolerance leads to self-depletion, self-neglect, and self-resentment. For example, when someone asks you for a favor, someone wants you to do things, or someone peer pressures you to do something you don't want to do, and when you don't say no, who are you mad at the end of the day? Yourself. Why are you going to put yourself through that kind of punishment, knowing that all you had to do was say no? Same thing with if you don't want to go out and you have friends that ask you and be like, I don't want to, and then they beg you, and you're just like, I don't want to. That feels good because you're setting a commitment to yourself and you're prioritizing yourself. Because when you prioritize yourself and you love yourself unconditionally and you love people unconditionally to a way where you respect their ways but no judgment, you just accept them the way that you want to be accepted, then what you're doing is setting yourself up to know what real self-love is and to know how to bring harmony into every connection in your life that you want to have and that is beneficial for you, to the point that you would not be manipulated, you would not be used, and you would not be hurt. Please understand, you guys, it's not other people that make us feel triggered and that make us feel mad at ourselves. It's the choices that we make that allow things to happen in our life. So if you don't know how to say no, you got to work on how to say no. If you don't know how to set boundaries, you got to learn how to set some boundaries, what is beneficial for you. If you fear people leaving you from knowing what real unconditional love is and not having unconditional tolerance, if you fear that, that's something you need to face and work on. Because we're not living in this life to be loved or liked. We're living in this life to be the best expression of ourselves, and then to allow what is best for us to be attracted to that, especially within people. So never fear saying no, never fear choosing yourself. But please do understand how to bring mutuality into your connections, because that's how they can become healthy. That's how they can benefit you and the other person. And that's how you can start seeing, where our true intentions lie? Where do my true intentions lie? And when you start to approach things with unconditional love rather than unconditional tolerance, you'll start to realize that lying, cheating, jealousy, all these things that are toxic will be removed from your life. And you'll be happy that you did the work to do so. So please, you guys, everything I shared with you today is just to help you understand what real unconditional love is, and stop having unconditional tolerance for people who don't appreciate you and for people who don't respect you. It's 2023, you guys. It's time for us to own our sovereignty and to let the world know who the fuck we are, and stop fearing the power and the love that's so unique within us. So, on that, you guys, I really hope this is assist. And until then, I'll see you in the next one. Only love.